covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV 23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of High Plains Today. It is my distinct pleasure to tell you who's in the studio today. He is the one, the only, Ken Selzer, CPA. He is the current insurance commissioner, state of Kansas, and, oh, by the way, he's running for governor. Did I get all that right?
Thank you very much. You did, Chris. I really appreciate the introduction.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks for coming out today. All right. Here's the big question. I got to ask this of everybody who's doing this. Why? And all right, we're going to start with who's Ken Selzer?
I'm Ken Selzer. I'm a CPA, as you just heard. I grew up in central rural Kansas, near Gossel, Kansas. Grew up in a 1A school district there. Went to grade school and high school in Gossel, Kansas. Went on to Kansas State University, studied accounting, graduated in 4 years, held 2 part-time jobs for most of that time, and graduated in 4 years, and then went on to become a CPA in the Northeast Kansas City area, the Northeast Kansas area, and have practiced for a CPA for 6 years, and then went back to school, got an MBA, and then from there into the insurance business, hence the qualifications to run for insurance commissioner 4 years ago.
Okay. You went to school a lot.
I did.
You're mathematical. I'm not.
I know
just
budgets.
Saying.
I know budgets.
Okay,
and I know
that's going to be
accounting.
important.
It is.
Looking at this next job.
We'll talk about that in just a bit.
All right. So from there, I'm going to go. Now you've been insurance commissioner for 3 years now.
That's right.
What made you get up one day and go, I think I'll run for governor?
It came from a number of sources urging me to run, very, very easily stated as doing a good job in the insurance department. We handle 30% more calls and consumer interactions now than we did when I started. We're doing it with 20% fewer people. We've shortened wait times. We've addressed a lot of issues within the insurance industry, and people wonder why that same kind of good, solid, calm, thoughtful, business-like approach to the job in government couldn't be applied to the broader state government. So we're taking our success in the insurance department and using it in the governor's office.
All right, so what you're saying is, I mean, you look back at former Governor Brownback's administration, and a lot of people will criticize it as it wasn't the most transparent administration that we've ever had, right? So are you looking now to one-up that, to make it more transparent? I mean, is transparency important to you?
Absolutely. And a good example is an outside third party came in and ranked all of the insurance departments in the United States. This was after we had slimmed down our employee count, reduced our costs, improved customer service. They came in and ranked all the insurance departments all across the country, and Kansas was the second highest ranked insurance department out of all 56 departments around the country in U.S. possessions. And we've proven that we can make government work better, and we can do that in the governor's office as well.
All right. So for anybody that's going, all right, what is this? What does an insurance commissioner do that's going to qualify you to be, take that step up to be the top dog in the state?
It's very straightforward. In the insurance department, we're required by statute to educate and advocate for consumers in the insurance space. We regulate insurance companies and we license insurance agents. So we've done a lot of things around that and done it more efficiently. We've done it calmly, thoughtfully, and we've gotten a better result for consumers. We need that in so many places in state government. We know that in the Medicaid area, we've got long wait lists. We've got all kinds of issues going on in a number of other areas in state government. I think mostly because we haven't had a businessman who knows how to manage well running the show. We're going to bring a business background, a financial background, my CPA qualifications, my understanding of budgets into state government, which desperately needs thoughtful financial management. We've had budget chaos for several years. More is coming. It looks like we'll have some this year. We know that in 2020 we'll have similar issues that we have to deal with. Right now, Kansas needs someone who can be calm and thoughtful and sort through the budget issues. And I've done that in the insurance department. I've done that in my career. I look forward to doing it for the state of Kansas.
Okay. So you talk about the budget and the mess we've had. Now, this is going to be the big question because, okay, you talk budgets and everybody seems to think, everybody's saying, all right, no, we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. Or we don't have a spending problem. We have a revenue problem. I mean, where are you at on that?
We have more of a spending problem, and I quickly demonstrate it to you. We've been operating here in Kansas for the last 8 years below the national average in our economy. Our economy has languished over the last 8 years. We need to make Kansas grow again. We will always focus on making Kansas grow again. We also have a cost curve that keeps going up much faster than inflation. We have a languishing economy and a growing cost curve. We need to lean in on costs, lean in on customer service with that, because we've got issues in a lot of places in Kansas in responding to consumers and getting people approved for programs, all kinds of issues like that. But we'll have to lean in on costs. That has to be the number one thing we do to stabilize our economy. We're already at a higher tax rate now after those tax increases of last session. We're at a higher tax rate than most states around us. We're at, we don't compare favorably in a number of ways. So we're going to lean in on costs, lean in on the customer service aspect to Kansans, and make Kansas grow again. Those three things are the things we're focusing on.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to concentrate more on this. What you're going to do to make Kansas grow and how you think you can make that work. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Stick around. Ken and I'll be back right after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV 23 with host Chris Jewell. TV23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV 23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kbgltv.com.
And welcome back. I'm joined in the studio today by Ken Selzer, CPA, insurance commissioner, gubernatorial candidate, state of Kansas, Republican. All right, now, before we left, we were talking about, the last thing you were talking about was, we're going to make Kansas grow again. I want you to tell me how we're going to make Kansas grow, because you had, we got spending going like this and revenues going like this, and they're getting further apart. How are you going to bring those two lines closer together?
And actually, revenues are growing. The underlying economy is growing, but far slower than the national average, and we can at least be at the national average. We can talk all day long about commodity issues and commodity prices and oil and gas prices as suppressing our revenue stream. But you know what? We can get past that. Kansas needs a governor who will champion ag. Ag is 42% of our economy, and you add on the value-added processes that go with it, and it's a much higher number. If we don't make ag grow again, Kansas won't grow. So the number one place we need to focus is ag. How are we going to make Kansas grow again through ag?
Okay, so what are some of the things we can do? Because you've got Washington talking about NAFTA, North American Free Trade Act, and either doing away with it or renegotiating it. And you got Senator Roberts say, oh, that'd be bad, and all these types of things. I mean, where do we stand on ag in Kansas? I mean, what have we got to do to strengthen it?
Why isn't our governor actively talking about ag issues with the President of the United States? Why isn't our governor forming coalitions with other governors of nearby ag states to make our voice heard louder? We need trade. We need markets. We need a governor who is going to champion trade and markets and value-added services in Kansas.
All right. So, and that's one thing, you never really heard, all we ever heard in previous administrations in Kansas was, okay, it's the oil and gas, property taxes are going up, oil and gas prices have gone down, ag prices have gone down. That's my excuse for revenues in the state of Kansas not working.
Well, one of the really interesting things is that we had record levels of commodity prices for several years, and we did our projections based upon those record levels. It's as if we didn't understand that things would eventually return to the norm. And we have to get past that. We have to be more thoughtful in our budget, in our budgeting, in our long-term thinking. We need to get our rainy day fund rebuilt in Kansas as we used to do. We need to have a cushion there, and it won't happen if we always project based on the rosiest outlook. So we can get past that. We can be more stable, more thoughtful in our budgeting process and move forward. We need to be able to make investments in things that will help us develop our economy, help us for the future. We don't need to be stuck in playing catch up every year. We know, as we talked, we know that in 2020 we have a number of deferred payments that we have to make up for here in Kansas. It's going to be budget chaos for a couple more years. We need to think first of stabilization and then quickly beginning to make investments in areas that are important to Kansas for our future.
Okay, so in order to do that, though, you're going to have cooperation from both the House and the Senate in Topeka, right?
We will.
So what are you going to do to set down those leaders and say, look, here's what we need to do?
Well, first of all, we're going to invite them for conversations. We're going to be actively working with everybody that can be influential in getting our platform moving and in making Kansas move again and in getting Kansas to grow. I think most people want that. They just think about short term. They think about the budget right in front of them. They think about how we're going to plug that. They're not thinking about the next year or 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road, even beyond the life of the term that I would be filling. We need to be more thoughtful in Kansas, just like some other states have done. Other states can think through it. We need to get back on track, thinking about the longer-term future of Kansas, making Kansas grow over the longer term.
So would that, because you talk about, they don't look long-term, and lately, both houses in Topeka seem to be, their favorite phrase anymore is, all right, we're going to sweep these funds and we're going to kick the can down the road and see what happens. So how do we fix that? How do we get them focused in the same type of ideas that you have?
I think a lot of them want to do it. I think they have to have a governor who is championing those issues every day. Every day. How can we make Kansas grow? Every day. How can we lean in on the cost curve and bend that cost curve and make Kansas more efficient? Right now we have three segments, as you know, in the legislature. We have the conservatives who want to cut more. We have the moderates who think there's nowhere else to cut. And we have others who want to simply add money to programs. There will never be a confidence in the management of our state if everybody doesn't believe that we are operating as efficiently as we possibly can. And I'm not talking about cutting programs en masse. I'm not talking about drastic things. I'm talking about good basic business management of a large organization. And we haven't had a governor that has focused on that. We're going to be focused on leaning in every day on cost, every day, how can we make Kansas grow? It's those things that a businessman will always focus in on.
So you're just going to have to get them off the side by the collar and say, look, here's what we need to do.
I don't think so.
We need to talk.
I think a lot of people from all parties, from all segments of the different parties can buy into. It's common sense, but we haven't had anybody talking about it. We haven't had anybody championing that for the people of Kansas.
It's going to be a simple deal, communication.
I think that's a large part of it. It sure is. And it takes some work together. It really does.
Okay. All right. hold that thought. So when we come back, we're going to get into more of this. We got a couple more elephants in the room that we're going to talk about.
Would love to.
All right. Stick around. Ken and I'll be back right after this.
Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV 23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV 23.
And welcome back, special edition of High Plains Today. Ken Seltzer, CPA, running for governor. Oh yeah, he's also the insurance commissioner. Current insurance commissioner, state of Kansas. All right, so we've been talking about a lot of stuff. We've talked a lot about ag. In fact, you married the farmer's daughter.
That's right.
Right?
My wife of 37 years was a farm girl from just south of Kansas City. Her mom still lives on the family farm. We own a farm near the Lewisburg Cider Mill, so come see the Lewisburg Cider Mill sometime and walk out the front door and you'll see our soybean fields.
There you go. Okay. All right. So, but the other thing I want to talk about, now we've talked about ag. Let's talk a little bit about KDOT, because out in southwest Kansas here, that's kind of a big deal, because we've had with, the bank of KDOT is finally running dry, which too bad. But, we've had a lot of projects in southwest and western Kansas that have been shortened or pulled or whatever that have just gone away. But then you get back to the central and the eastern part of the state around Wichita, you see a lot of road construction going on. You get around Kansas City, Topeka areas, a lot of road construction going on. And you go, we need that infrastructure out here too, because like you say, agriculture is a large part of Kansas and 42%. Well, that 42%, a big chunk of it's out here. So, what can we do to fix KDOT and that problem?
I've heard from so many people here in southwestern Kansas on many trips that I've made here that we need better and more infrastructure. We need better roads, improved roads, so that we can handle the many ag-related trucks that go up and down those highways. We're going to focus on KDOT just like we will on the rest of the state. There's $1.1 billion of operating funds in KDOT every year to maintain our roads and operate our roads. We're going to focus in on making that more efficient. Hopefully we can move some of that money that has been used in operations over to improvements and to road construction so that we can better utilize the monies that is already there. We also need to think in terms of slowly moving back up and recouping some of those monies that have been swept every year, or avoid sweeping that whole amount. We may never get to the full amount, but we need to make sure that more money gets dedicated to road improvements throughout the state. And there's a couple of objective things that we should be evaluating as we look at road opportunities and needs throughout the state of Kansas. One, of course, is safety. Obviously, over-traveled roads, really heavily traveled roads, are a safety issue. The second, but really incredibly important part of it, is economic development. Can that road or improvement be made to improve the growth in Kansas? Can it help Kansas grow again? Keeping with our overall theme, Kansas has to grow, ag has to grow to make Kansas grow. So we'll closely evaluate that. I've heard, again, many people talk about the need for some improved roads here. There's some interesting things in KDOT. By and large, I think it's a rail-run organization, but there's things in there that can benefit western Kansas. The aviation department, there's broadband infrastructure along roadways, different things like that can really benefit rural Kansas. And we're going to focus on maximizing our dollars, maximizing our private-public partnerships that might go with that, which can help Kansas in so many areas. But we're going to, well, first of all, we totally understand that KDOT is one of the big three expenditures in Kansas. Make it more leaner and see if we can't shift some of that money to new road construction and improved roads. So we're going to really zero in on that.
All right, we got like a minute and a half left.
Yes.
All right, I want you to tell me, or you can look right here and tell everybody why they should vote for Ken Seltzer
Vote for Ken Seltzer because I have the right tools for what is needed in Kansas right now. I'm a CPA. I'm a calm and thoughtful leader. I have a business background. I have proven that we can make Kansas work better. We've proven that we can make government work better in the insurance department. We've slimmed it down. We serve more people in shorter time frames. We can bring that same thought process to the entire state government, and we will as governor.
All right. Ken, I appreciate you coming by today.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
truly
I'm glad
appreciate
you're
the
back in
opportunity.
Southwest Kansas.
Well, you bet.
Stopping by. And you get out here again, hey, come by.
We will.
And we'll chat.
Thank you.
There's more stuff to talk about,
There's a
right?
lot more to talk about. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with your
All right.
listeners.
I appreciate you, Ken.
Thank
All
you.
right. And thanks for joining us on this special edition of High Plains Today. We'll see you next time.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. People are people around here. That's how it is. It's so clear.